Heartwarming moment. Millionaire reveals life-changing surprise after little girl's touching plea. Maya sat cross-legged on the grass, her bright smile lighting up the local park where laughter should echo like music. The sun dipped low, casting golden hues over the worn swings and chipped slides the playground she claimed as her second home. But that evening, everything shifted. She overheard her mother, Mary, the waitress with tired eyes and a heart full of grit, fretfully discussing bills piled high as Everest. Maya's innocent world trembled ever so slightly as the weight of reality crashed upon her small shoulders. Tears welled in her eyes, but they didn't fall. Instead, a spark ignited within her. Inspired by her mother's endless sacrifices, Maya grabbed a piece of scrap paper and began to write. Her small fingers moved quickly, heart racing. "Dear Mr. Carter," she wrote, addressing the elusive millionaire known for his wealth but rarely seen beyond the gates of his mansion. "I want a community center. A safe place for kids like me to play and learn." Her words poured out, raw and genuine, each sentence dripped with longing and hope. A vision danced in her mind, a sanctuary where laughter replaced pain, where friends became family. Once finished, she sealed the letter in an envelope and handed it to her mother. "I'm going to make a change," she declared, chest puffed with pride. Little did she know, this small act would set forth a wave of impact that would ripple through their lives and the entire community. Before long, Maya's touching plea went viral. Social media exploded with support, each share breathing life into her dreams. The whisper of hope echoed through the suburb as neighbors began discussing the struggles they shared, urging for something more. Maya became a symbol of resilience, a beacon illuminating the dark corners of their realities. Intrigued by the buzz, Noah Carter drove his luxury car into their neighborhood, planning a publicity stunt. Initially, he thought Maya was just a scrappy little girl, a perfect opportunity for a staged photo op. But as he stepped out of his car, the scent of grilled burgers and laughter filled the air, drawing him toward the park where children played. There he found Maya, standing boldly, her hands on her hips, her friends rallying around her like a legion of hope. "Wow," Noah muttered, his facade softening as he took in the scene. Maya's spirit was contagious, and he found himself swept up in her fervor. Just as he prepared to announce his generous donation, a storm brewed on the horizon. A local development group had their sights on that very land. Tensions erupted as neighbors squabbled over their beloved park. Maya, feeling the heat of the conflict rise, took a deep breath and stepped into the fray. "We can't let disagreement tear us apart. We need to stand strong. We deserve better together." Her voice rang like a bell, suddenly silencing the crowd. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference." "Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now, let's continue. The laughter faded, replaced by an urgent sense of purpose. All eyes turned to Noah. Would he champion their cause? Would he help them fight for their park and their dreams? The community watched, breath suspended, their fate hanging in the balance. Would this little girl's big dreams transcend wealth and privilege, or were they destined to remain mere wishes? Noah stood at the center of all the tension, heart beating in sync with the weight of the moment. The crowd stared at him, their expressions a mix of hope and uncertainty. This was not the staged event he had planned. This was real. He shifted uncomfortably, the air thick with anticipation. Maya watched him closely, her eyes wide and bright, as if they could pierce the layers of armor he built around himself. Just then, he realized he had a decision to make. Would he sidestep the challenge and retreat back to his fancy world, or would he step up, fueled by the courage radiating from this little girl? "Okay," he finally said, his voice steady but softer than expected. "I can help. I'll match donations for the community center, but we need to spread the word." A murmur of disbelief rippled through the crowd. Families shared glances, unsure if they heard him correctly. Was this really happening? Maya's heart soared. "Thank you. We'll tell everyone," she exclaimed, clapping her hands together, her joy reverberating through the air like a soft melody. The park buzzed with energy as neighbors began to rally, voices lifting in enthusiasm. Flyers were created, events planned, and their little community erupted into a grassroots movement. But with excitement came shadows. The development's team was relentless. A slick brochure slipped into neighbors' mailboxes, boasting promises of modern living spaces and profit margins that left no room for a park. People began to divide, some tempted by the idea of shiny new homes, others determined to hold on to their cherished memories. Maya, however, remained resolute. "We need to talk to the community. Not just about the park, but about what it means to us," she urged, determination shining in her eyes as she gathered her friends. They organized a town meeting. The day was gray, but the air crackled with urgency. Neighbors filled seats, casting wary glances at each other. Noah, standing by Maya's side, felt nervous but determined. These were not just houses. These were homes filled with stories and laughter. As Maya took the stage, her small frame trembled with nerves. But then she grew still, finding strength within. "This park," she gestured around, "is where I learned to ride a bike, where I made my best friends, and where we can all come together. It's not just land, it's our home." A round of applause erupted, lifting the tension momentarily. Yet a lone voice, a powerful voice, cut through the cheer. "But we need jobs. We need access to better schools." It was one of the developers, and murmurs of agreement followed. The atmosphere thickened again, confusion weighing heavy. Maya looked at Noah, eyes pleading for guidance. He smiled at her, a silent promise that he wouldn't let her down. "We can find solutions that benefit everyone," he called out, stepping up. A center doesn't have to mean sacrificing growth. But as they spoke, deep down Noah knew that would take more than promises. It would take a united front, and that was harder to rally than any publicity stunt. They'd need to open hearts and minds, bridging a gap that could easily tear them apart. Maya leaned into the moment, ready to fight for every child's laughter that echoed through the park. But would their efforts be enough to keep the development team at bay? Would they be able to unite the community against the looming threat? As she stared into the faces of her neighbors, she felt a whirlwind of emotion. She needed to make them believe in their dreams just as fiercely as she did. Together, we can not only keep this park, we can keep our community alive. Little did she know, the real fight was just beginning, and the decisions made tonight would alter the fabric of their lives forever. What lay ahead would be a test of resolve and unity, an unexpected twist no one saw coming. The room buzzed with tension as the discussion deepened into a whirlwind of contrasting opinions. Noah glanced around, noting the crease of worry on some faces, while others sparked with anger or uncertainty. It was a storm of emotions, a reflection of what they were all fighting for. Maya stepped back from the microphone, her hands shaking slightly. She stole a look at Noah for reassurance. He nodded encouragingly. It was that small gesture that lit a fire within her, urging her to push forward. "Look, I know we all have concerns," she said, her voice growing stronger. "But isn't this park part of who we are? Can we make something even better that includes all of us?" The crowd fell silent for a heartbeat before a voice erupted from the back. "But the world is changing. We need to adapt." A tall man, the town's mayor, stood with his arms crossed, eyebrows furrowed. His words cut through the air, sharp and challenging. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room once more, underscoring the split. Noah felt a surge of frustration. What's wrong with growing together? He stepped forward, heart racing. "We can have this park not just for nostalgia, but as a place to build the future, to provide a space where kids can learn and families can connect." He took a deep breath, calming his racing thoughts. "We need more than just houses. We need community." "But how?" Someone shouted from the front, a hint of desperation in their voice. Worry and skepticism hung heavy over the room. "You say we should grow, but who will fund these dreams?" As the questions flew, Maya caught her breath and raised her voice again. Noah is ready to help. He believes in what we're trying to do. Together we can create a plan, not only for the park but for the future of our town. Noah felt the weight of her words, heavy yet empowering. Could he truly lead this community? Their eyes filled with hope, skepticism, and occasionally, anger made it clear just how crucial this moment was. A woman in the front row, teary-eyed, finally spoke up. We lost so much during the construction of the new mall. I don't want to lose this too. We need a place for our children to play. Her voice trembled, resonating with the crowd's shared longing for connection, comfort, and stability. Maya turned to the crowd, to the woman, then to Noah. We need stories. Memories. She felt emboldened by their responses. What if we share why this park matters to all of us? We can gather our stories. Those who VE played here. Those who VE found love or friendship here. If we come together, maybe we can show the developers that we need more than homes. We need a community space. Discussion buzzed again, this time like a growing heartbeat. Ideas clashed and combined. People shared their own memories of the park. Laughter intertwined with tears as stories unfolded, and for a moment, the tension melted away. Noah felt a glimmer of hope. This was the essence of community, the foundation they needed. But then he spotted the slick brochure again, lying forgotten on a nearby chair. Reminders of the encroaching threat loomed larger than ever. Would those heartfelt stories sway the corporate giants? Let us gather those memories and make something profound, Noah said, the deliberation rising in his chest. We can create a campaign that shows our love for this place. A place that needs to exist for all of us, no matter where we come from. Excitement ignited, and Maya beamed. Yet doubt still lingered in Noah's chest. He knew the road ahead was steep, and the developers wouldn't back down easily. But the shift in the room was palpable. They were ready to unite. As the crowd's energy shifted from hesitant to hopeful, he wondered, would their collective voice echo loudly enough to change minds? Would the stories of joy drown out the lure of profit? Outside, the sun began to set, casting a soft orange glow that seeped through the windows, illuminating their faces, filled with newfound resolve. And as they forged a plan, Noah knew they would need to confront challenges he could never have predicted what could possibly lie ahead. As the meeting drew to a close, excitement hung in the air like an electric current. The crowd's energy pulsated through the room, a mix of laughter and chatter. Noah could feel Maya's warmth radiating beside him, her usual determination deepened by the emotional tapestry they had just woven together. Can you believe how passionate everyone is? She whispered, her eyes sparkling. It's incredible, Noah replied, a smile creeping across his face. If we channel this energy, we can make something amazing happen. But even as he spoke, doubt gnawed at the edges of his mind. Would their enthusiasm last? Could they really shift the tides against the corporate developers? Noah took a deep breath, shaking off his anxiety. The stories they had shared that night surged through him, a testament to the community's heart. Yet, his gaze drifted back to the discarded brochure. Maya noticed and frowned. What's wrong? Just thinking about the stakes. We'll need more than memories to fight this. We need real support. Maya nodded, her expression serious now. Then we'll get it. We need to reach out to everyone, families, local businesses, even online. But we have to act fast. Noah couldn't help but admire her tenacity. You're right. Let us create a social media campaign, something vibrant that showcases the park as history and its importance. With that, the two dived into planning. They stayed later than anyone else, jotting down themes and ideas, the markers on the whiteboard wild and colorful. With each brainstormed notion, their hopes grew brighter. If they could capture the essence of what the park meant grounded in shared laughter, childhood memories, and future dreams, maybe it would resonate beyond their town. As they finalized their plans, the need for fresh perspective danced in Noah's mind. What if we invite local artists? They could create murals or installations that represent our stories. We do not only raise awareness but also bring beauty to the park. Maya's eyes widened with excitement. That's brilliant. It'll draw in people and give them something to talk about. We can host an event, make it a festival, a celebration of our community. Hours slipped away. As the moon glowed brightly, their laughter served as balm against the worry that lingered. The more they thought of their campaign, the less intimidating the battle against the developers felt. But with dawn came reality. The next day, as Noah was setting up the social media pages, an unexpected email landed in his inbox. It was from an unknown local philanthropist, intrigued by the news of their efforts. The words blurred together as he read on, the excitement of possibilities mingling with disbelief. This benefactor wanted to potentially host an event to bring together local business leaders and discuss funding avenues for projects that promoted community spaces. "Have you seen this?" Noah exclaimed, turning to Maya, who sat beside him.
No.
"What is it?" "It's a proposal, but it sounds like they're genuinely interested in supporting our mission." Maya squealed with delight, rising from her chair. "This could change everything. If we can impress them, we might actually stand a chance. Can you imagine?" But as the joy of possibility began to sink in, Noah's heart raced. A part of him wondered, what if this was just a trap? Before he could voice his concerns, Maya clapped her hands. "No more doubts. We need to meet this person, as soon as possible." As they began to craft the email reply, Noah felt an innocent flicker of hope. But he also couldn't shake the nagging worry that perhaps they were stepping into a world much larger than themselves, one filled with challenges and choices they weren't fully prepared for. With determination in her voice, Maya pressed send, sealing their commitment. "Noah, we're ready for whatever comes next." Outside, the dawn painted the sky in shades of optimism, yet unease bubbled beneath the surface. Could they really navigate these unpredictable waters? Would their dreams come crashing down, or lift them higher than they ever imagined? As Noah looked out the window, the horizon felt like both an invitation and a warning, resonating with urgency and possibility. What awaited them on this new path? The days that followed felt surreal to Noah. The thrill of the email had ignited a spark, but as the anticipation stretched into a waiting game, it was mixed with anxiety. Each morning brought a heavier sense of pressure. Maya was relentless, diving deep into planning, visions of the festival swirling in her mind like a lively autumn breeze. But Noah struggled to keep pace. "What do you think they'll be like?" he asked one evening as they shared dinner at a local diner, the clatter of plates and laughter providing a comforting backdrop. "Who knows? But if they're as passionate as we are, we could be in for something amazing." Maya skipped over his uncertainty, her bright spirit echoing through their small table. He wanted to feel that way, too, but his worries loomed, like dark clouds threatening a bright day. What if they don't really care about us? What if they just want to use our project for publicity or profit? Maya took a breath, her fork pausing midair. "Noah, focus on what we do know." They reached out. "Isn't that a positive sign? It means they see value in what we're trying to protect." He admired her optimism, the way she could cling to hope like a life raft in stormy seas, but it did nothing to soothe his mind. Later that week, as they prepared for the meeting, he found himself rehearsing a speech, pacing around his small apartment, the faint smell of coffee filling the air. His hands trembled slightly as he scribbled notes, trying to encapsulate everything they had worked towards. "Just speak from the heart," Maya advised when she found him in a frenzy of papers and sticky notes. "You know this park better than anyone. It's not just about convincing them, it's about sharing our story, why it matters." Eventually, the day of the meeting arrived. Giddy nerves danced in his stomach. Maya arrived early, her dress flowing with vibrant patterns that seemed to echo the energy they had built together. "It's showtime," she said with a grin, bouncing on her heels as they approached the venue, a spacious gallery overflowing with art. It was both intimidating and inspiring. They took a deep breath before stepping inside. The room was bright and filled with local artists setting up their works, colorful paintings and sculptures capturing the essence of the community. A few well-dressed individuals mingled, laughter mixing with the clinking of glasses. Surely this meeting would mark a turning point, Noah thought. When the philanthropist arrived, She emanated an air of grace that made her seem larger than life. Dressed in a stylish blazer and captivating smile, she introduced herself as Evelyn. Despite her polished demeanor, there was warmth in her eyes. Noah and Maya, standing together, felt the weight of the moment. They shared their pitch, pulling tales of childhood memories and community dreams from the depths of their hearts. Nostalgia swirled around them like sweet perfume as they wove their narrative. Evelyn listened intently. Her expression softened, nodding as they spoke. When they finished, there was a pregnant pause. "I'm moved by your passion," she finally said, almost quietly. "But tell me more about what you envision. What impact do you hope to create?" Noah opened his mouth to speak, but his words caught in his throat. This was what they had worked for. Maya, sensing his hesitation, leaned in. "We want the park to be a space where families can come together, where laughter fills the air. We want it to be a sanctuary for future generations." "Beautiful," Evelyn said, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "And this is why I'm here." Hope flickered again in Noah's heart, but it was shadowed by an unsettling feeling. As the conversation moved forward, he couldn't shake the fear that their dreams could still slip through their fingers. As they continued the discussion, Noah glanced around the room at the vibrant art, pieces that breathed life into stories just like theirs. It hit him suddenly, this wasn't just about securing funds anymore. It was about standing firm in their vision, fighting for something that mattered deeply to them. And as they wrapped up that meeting, he couldn't help but ponder, what would they have to sacrifice to protect their dreams? Stepping out into the crisp evening air, he felt the weight of uncertainty settle back in. The stakes had just risen higher. What lay ahead could either fulfill their hopes or deliver harsh realities. But one thing was for sure, he and Maya were in this together, come what may. They had each other, and that might just be enough. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and orange, Noah caught Maya's eye. A silent agreement passed between them. Whatever came next, they would face it head-on. But would they be prepared for the next twist in their journey? The following days felt like a mix of dreams and nightmares for Noah. After their meeting with Evelyn, the spark of hope brightened his heart, yet shadows still lurked around the edges of his mind. He couldn't shake the lurking doubts that swirled like autumn leaves in a gusty wind. "Did you sleep at all last night?" Maya asked one morning, noticing the heaviness in his eyes. They were back at their favorite diner. Piles of pancakes sat neglected on his plate while she chatted excitedly about their next steps. "Enough," he replied, forcing a smile. But inside, anxiety gnawed at him. What if Evelyn doesn't call back? What if she was just being polite? Maya rolled her eyes playfully, nudging his shoulder. "You have to trust in your passion, Noah. And look at what we created together, it's amazing." "She sees it just like we do." Noah nodded but couldn't fully embrace her enthusiasm. Instead, his thoughts spiraled down the rabbit hole of confusion. Would their dreams turn into reality, or would it remain just another faded idea on paper? The next morning brought the unmistakable ping of his email notification. Heart racing, he opened it, suddenly feeling lightheaded. It was a message from Evelyn. "I was moved by our meeting and would love to explore how we can collaborate. Can we set up a follow-up soon?" Relief washed over him, but it was quickly mingled with a storm of new questions. What did this mean for them? Did it imply a partnership? Were they ready for that level of commitment? "Maya," he called out, his voice tinged with excitement. She came rushing into the room, her face lighting up at the sight of his wide smile. "You got the email, didn't you?" "I did. She wants to meet again." Maya squealed in delight, bouncing on her toes. "This is incredible. We can finally dive into details. And we can brainstorm ideas. What if we," as she rambled on, Noah felt a flicker of excitement ignite within him. Yet, as her words mingled with his thoughts, the pressure of what this next meeting could bring pressed down on him harder than before. The cafe doors swung open, spilling sunlight into the room. A mother walked in, a little girl wrapping her tiny fingers around her hand. The girl looked around, eyes wide with curiosity, and then something about her drew Noah's attention. In her small arms, She clutched a crumpled drawing. She approached Maya and Noah, her face serious and filled with purpose. "Excuse me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper.
"Can you help me?"
Maya knelt beside the little girl, intrigued. "Of course. What's your name?" "Lily," the girl replied, her cheeks flushed with determination. "I made this for the park. It has flowers and swings and a big slide. It's South my happy place. Can you make it real?" Noah felt a rush of emotions squeeze his heart. The innocence and hope shining from Lily's eyes mirrored his own desires. It reminded him that their project was about people, families, and memories, not just numbers and funding. He could almost hear the thumping of his heart synchronizing with the hopes that floated in the air around the little girl. "We promise to do our best, Lily. This park will be a place for everyone, including you." Lily's eyes sparkled, her small face lighting up with joy. "Really?" "Absolutely," Maya chimed in, her voice filled with warmth. As the mother smiled and ushered Lily back towards their table, Noah turned to Maya, heart swelling. "Do you see that? That's why we can't give up. It's not just for us. It's for kids like her." Maya nodded, but there was a flicker of concern in her eyes. "What if it doesn't happen? What if we can't make it real?" Noah took a deep breath, the weightiness of her words settling over him. Everyone had expectations, and sometimes those expectations were the hardest weight to carry. But in that moment with Lily, he realized the stakes were higher than just their dream. They were holding on to others' dreams too. Suddenly, the weight of responsibility became a fire burning bright. "We have to go all in, Maya. No matter what it takes." But as excitement rushed over him, a chilling thought crossed his mind. What sacrifices lay ahead in their mission to make a difference? With determination set in his eyes, he took Maya's hand, ready to face whatever was next. But just how deep would they have to dig to protect their shared dream? The next day felt electric. The air was thick with anticipation, and Noah could hardly focus on anything else besides the upcoming meeting with Evelyn. He sat at his desk, papers spread all around him, barely able to process the chaotic thoughts swirling in his mind. Each time he glanced at his phone, hope surged. What if she called? What if she was the key? "Maya, you ready for this?" he asked, pacing back and forth. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, eyes glued to her laptop. "I've been working on the presentation. We need to show her how much this means to us and to others." Noah paused, absorbing her words. He loved how passionate she was, but with that passion came a weight he felt immensely. Today wasn't just about impressing a possible investor. It was about their dreams, two dreams weaving into one path. "Okay, but what if she isn't on board? What if she thinks we're just stop?" Maya interrupted, clearly frustrated. "We've worked so hard for this, Noah. We can't let fear talk us out of our future." Her words hung in the air between them, and he nodded, trying to shake off his doubt. Later, they parked outside Evelyn's office building, a sleek, modern space that seemed to shimmer against the sunlight. Noah's heart raced, and he wiped his hands against his jeans. "All right, deep breaths," he murmured, trying to ease the tension that had crept into his chest. Maya reached over, squeezing his shoulder. "We've got this. Just remember what the project means, the impact it'll have. The kids who will play in the park." With a shared glance, they stepped into the cool lobby. As they rode the elevator up to Evelyn's floor, anxiety pulsed through his veins. This could be the moment when every bit of effort transformed into reality. Evelyn greeted them with an inviting smile.
"Noah."
"Maya. So glad to see you again." "Thank you for seeing us," Noah managed, his voice steady despite the rapid beating of his heart. They settled into the plush chairs of her office while sun rays streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the room in a warm glow. The space was comfortable yet professional, just like Evelyn herself. "Now let us talk about your vision," she encouraged, leaning forward with interest. Noah glanced at Maya, and together they launched into their presentation. He spoke about the park concept, a space filled with laughter, joy, and the sound of children playing, just like Lily had imagined. They showed sketches, plans, and even ideas about community involvement. As they talked, Evelyn nodded, her attention unwavering. But when they finished, an unexpected silence slipped into the room. "That's quite an ambitious plan," Evelyn said slowly. "I see the potential, but we need to address the funding and how to implement this on a larger scale." Noah's heart sank a little. She had seen their passion, but was cautious about the practical side. "We're prepared for that," he responded, surprising himself with the strength in his voice. "This is about more than just green spaces. It's about connecting people, creating memories. It's something our community really needs." Evelyn regarded him thoughtfully, her expression revealing layers of consideration. "And I understand that," she replied finally. "But here's my concern. Can you both commit to this fully? It'll require your complete dedication. The stakes are high." Noah felt a tremor of fear ripple through him. Could they really give everything? "We're ready to go all in," Maya affirmed, nodding confidently. "We won't let anyone down. Not Lily, not our community." Evelyn's eyes brightened. "That's the spirit I was hoping to see. Let us explore how we can really bring this idea to life." As they dove into deeper conversation, Noah could feel the fire inside him reignite. This might just work if they placed everything on the line. As they left the meeting, a mix of exhilaration and anxious reality settled around them like a thick fog. Noah turned to Maya, whose face was lit up with hope, igniting a spark in his chest. What if we actually pull this off? But as they walked away, an unshakable thought clouded his excitement. What would they sacrifice along the way to make this dream real? That question hung over him as they took their first steps toward a future that felt both thrilling and terrifying. Would their passion be enough to withstand the challenges ahead? The sun dipped low in the sky, wrapping the streets in a golden hue. With each step Noah and Maya took, the weight of their ambitions grew heavier, but more tangible. They had shared ideas and dreams with Evelyn. Now the reality of bringing it all to life loomed ahead like a mountain they had to climb. "What's next?" Maya asked, glancing at him, her eyes brimming with fiery determination. Noah paused for a moment, taking in the bustling city around them. The view of the park where they envisioned laughter and play seemed to linger in his mind's eye, a constant reminder of why they had started. "First, we need to outline the budget and gather community support. We have to show Evelyn we're serious." Her jaw set in determination. "We should host a community meeting. Let people know what we're planning. If they get involved, it will help our case." "Right," he replied, feeling a swell of enthusiasm. But the shadow of doubt lingered. Would the community rally behind them? They returned to their small office, the walls plastered with sketches and words that represented not just their project, but their hope. Maya immediately set to work finding a venue for the community gathering while Noah found himself staring out the window, lost in thought. What if they succeeded? The vision of families exploring the park flashed in his mind, children running happily, parents finding solace in nature. He realized it could be life-changing for everyone involved, especially for himself and Maya. But there was a nagging uncertainty. What if disappointment loomed? What if they were counting on something that wouldn't materialize? "Hey," Maya's voice broke through his thoughts. She had been studying him, a look of concern on her face.
"Talk to me."
"You've gone quiet." Noah turned to her, vulnerability setting in. "What if we put everything on the line, and it doesn't work? We could end up letting everyone down, especially Lily." Maya stepped closer, her presence radiating reassurance. "We're not in this alone, Noah. We have a community that will stand with us. It's about hope, connection, and maybe even healing for some families." He took a deep breath, grounding himself in her words. Maya was right. It wasn't just about them or their dreams. It was about everyone who had loved ones in this community, everyone who needed something to believe in. Later that week, they organized the community meeting, the buzz of excitement palpable in the air. Flyers decorated the neighborhood, with smiling faces eagerly pinned to display their support. The night of the event, the local community center filled with families eager to hear about the park. "Are you ready for this?" Noah asked Maya as they stood at the front of the room, the crowd murmuring with anticipation. The bright lights cast shadows across their faces, mirroring their nervousness. "More than ever," she replied, a confident smile lighting her face. As they started speaking, sharing their vision once more, no one noticed faces in the crowd realizing how personal the project was. He saw a mother nodding, an old man's eyes glistening with nostalgia, and children's faces lighting up with curiosity at the thought of swings and laughter. But then, amidst the growing excitement, a small girl raised her hand. Her pigtails bounced as she stood up, her eyes wide. "Will the park have flowers?" "My sister loves flowers." Noah felt a lump in his throat. "Absolutely. We'll fill it with flowers and trees, so kids can explore nature and discover beauty every day." The girl's smile was radiant, and the room seemed to warm at her innocence. That was it. They didn't just want to build a park, they wanted to create a place that breathed life into everyone who stepped inside. As they wrapped up the meeting, applause filled the room, and Noah's heart raced with excitement. They had tapped into something real, something positive that resonated in every corner of that space. But as they said their goodbyes and excitement simmered, he couldn't shake another worry that crept in. What would happen if Evelyn didn't support their plans after this? Would they have enough momentum to carry on? Just then, Maya grabbed his arm. "We did great, didn't we?" "Yeah, but don't doubt this. If we keep this energy, we can push through," she insisted. Noah watched the crowd filter out, faces lit with hope. Maybe they would find a way through, but how many more hurdles awaited them? That question lingered, a reminder that their journey had only just begun. The evening had settled over the community center, the laughter and chatter of families slowly fading as people filtered out. Noah and Maya remained, still processing the rush of emotions that had surged through them just moments ago. The excitement of the meeting vibrated in the air like the final notes of a beautiful song. "Can you believe how many people showed up?" Maya said, her eyes sparkling with joy. "No," Noah replied, still mildly in disbelief. "It felt like half the neighborhood was there. They really care." Maya nodded enthusiastically. "And that little girl. She was so brave to speak up. It's moments like that which really show why we need this park." Noah smiled, recalling the girl's bright eyes and the hope she had stirred in the room. But he still sensed that undercurrent of worry nagging at him. "Do you think we should start planning for the next steps?" he asked, shifting the conversation towards their looming challenges. "Absolutely. We need to keep this momentum," she urged, already flipping through her notes. "We should finalize our budget and maybe create a project timeline." Noah watched her, his admiration growing. She was fueled by a fire that remarkably matched his own, igniting a passion that he thought might dim as the night went on. But even as she spoke, his mind wandered back to Evelyn and the looming shadow that had formed in the corner of his heart.
Right.
His voice was slightly subdued. "What if she doesn't back us? What if after all this, we just hit a wall?" Maya's expression shifted, tightening as if she sensed the heaviness of his thoughts. "Noah, let us not go down that road just yet. We have support. We just need to focus on what we can control." Her words hung between them, a delicate balance of hope and reality. It was easy to be swept away by the euphoria of the moment, but the what-ifs seemed to lurk just beneath the surface, whispering doubts that clawed at Noah's resolve. Suddenly, the door swung open, and a couple with a toddler stepped inside, turning their heads with wide eyes at the sight of the two still working. "Is this where we sign up to help with the park?" Maya's face lit up. "Absolutely. We'd love to have you on board." The simple gesture rooted Noah back to their cause. Seeing it through their eyes makes it all worth it, he thought, releasing the weight of his worries momentarily. Meanwhile, the afternoon had given way to night, and uncertainty had been lingering. But, as parents signed their names and expressed enthusiasm, Noah felt a spark igniting once more. "Guys, we want to build something special here." Maya's voice carried across the room as she rallied everyone's attention. "Let us create a park that reflects our community's love and spirit." Cheers erupted, and Noah found himself swept up in the wave of energy, a fresh sense of purpose powering through him. And as they wrapped up discussions for the evening, the feeling of connection became a vivid tapestry of hope woven among the people standing together. Finally, they gathered their things, ready to leave for the night, Yet Noah paused at the door, looking back at the remnants of excitement spilling from the community center. Maya, we need a backup plan when Evelyn comes back to us, he said earnestly. Maya's smile softened, understanding the depths of his fears. We'll figure it out. Together. That notion filled him with relief, but as they stepped outside, the cool night air reminded him of the work still ahead. The park was a dream, vibrant and hopeful, but they were walking into the unknown. Let us not just think about the park. Let us think about how to make it happen, Maya suggested, tightening the straps on her bag. Noah couldn't agree more, but in the back of his mind, one thought lingered. What if the very people they worked so hard to rally were the ones who could hold their dreams captive? As if she could read his mind, Maya added, no matter what challenges come our way, we can't lose sight of why we're doing this. With that, they set off into the night, but Noah's heart raced with questions. Could their community truly become the backbone of this dream? Or might they face turns that no one could predict? As they walked home, a haunting thought echoed in his mind. What happens when the excitement fades and they're left with only hope? The day of reckoning arrived, the air thick with anticipation, as Noah and Maya stood before their community, hearts pounding with hope. The crowd had gathered once more, a mixture of familiar faces and curious onlookers, eager to learn of the progress they had made. Maya stood confidently at the front, her eyes bright with determination. Thank you all for coming. Today is a huge milestone for us, she began, her voice ringing through the crowded room. We've taken the necessary steps to move forward with our community center project, and we're ready to present our plans to Evelyn next week. Cheers erupted, and Noah felt warm waves of excitement wash over him. He had doubts swirling in his mind, but seeing Maya's enthusiasm lit a fire within him too. Yet the shadow of reality loomed. But we need your support, Maya continued, her voice steady. This isn't just about us. It's about you and the generations after us. It's about creating a space where our children can thrive. Noah watched the crowd closely. Families nodded in agreement, eyes lighting up with hope. But he could also feel apprehension, hanging in the air like a storm cloud. People were wondering if this was just a dream, ventured a voice from the back, cutting through the enthusiastic atmosphere. It was Mrs. Carter, the town's librarian, her brow furrowed with concern. How can we be sure you will follow through? What if it doesn't happen? Noah's stomach dropped. He understood her fears, and many others in the crowd might share them too. We understand that skepticism is a part of this. He stepped up, his heart racing. But we're committed to making this happen. We're not only here to talk, we're here to inspire you to take action with us. We have a chance to write our own story. Cheers erupted again, but Mrs. Carter's face remained serious, and Noah could see that not everyone was convinced. The unease of uncertainty left him feeling raw. How could they truly deliver on their promise? Maya squeezed his hand in a moment of solidarity. We're organizing events, fundraisers, and community days. But it all starts with each one of you, she urged. A ripple of murmurs ignited through the crowd. No one can build this together on their own, he chimed in. It'll take all of us. Let us create a space where everyone feels welcome. As he spoke, the energies shifted. A wave of enthusiasm unfurled in the room, faces igniting with hope and community spirit. One by one, people began to stand up, pledging their support, sharing ideas of fundraising drives, and expressing their excitement. A sense of collective ownership emerged, a uniting pulse that resonated through the crowd. I can make pies for the bake sale. An older gentleman called out, smiling brightly. My kids can help with flyers. Another chimed in, their enthusiasm infectious. Maya, Noah, you've sparked something in us. Mrs. Carter finally smiled, her skepticism melting away. I'll rally the library for more stories about our park. Get everyone involved. As the crowd erupted in cheers, Noah felt a profound sense of clarity, a collective heartbeat echoing his own hopes and dreams. Yes, they were in this together, not just as individuals, but as a vibrant community woven together by shared memories and aspirations. Later that evening, as they walked home beneath the glow of streetlights, Maya turned to Noah, a bright grin on her face.
See? This is what I was talking about.
We're not just fighting for a park. We're building a community. His heart swelled at her words. If they could keep this momentum going, they could truly bring their dream to life. Hope felt within reach at last. But as their steps echoed along the quiet streets, a lingering thought nagged at Noah's mind. What was the next obstacle they might face? They had gained the community as support, but would Evelyn see their passion reflected there? Would she believe in their vision enough to invest in their dreams? With those thoughts wrapping around his heart like a tight coil, Noah looked to Maya, whose excitement was infectious. For once, he didn't feel so afraid.
They
had each other. Together, he whispered, squeezing her hand. We'll make it happen. As they continued to walk, the night filled with whispers of potential and dreams, that glimmer of hope transformed into a burning desire within him. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, united in spirit, with a community behind them. But what would happen when that spirit faced the harsh realities of the world outside? Would their dreams shine brightly, or would they flicker in the winds of uncertainty? Later that week, standing before the polished conference table, Noah felt his heart racing as Evelyn entered the room. He would soon find out if their united hope could withstand the challenges ahead. The stakes had never been higher, and decision time loomed close at hand. It was their moment to prove that the heart of the community could create something remarkable, but would it be enough to conquer what lay ahead? Before him sat a future promising growth, connection, and laughter. But hidden just beneath the surface, the jagged edges of doubt remained. What sacrifices would they have to make to see their dreams come to fruition? Noah stood tall, ready to answer that question. He could not afford to let fear dictate their journey anymore. And with every heartbeat, hope pulsed within him. Now is the time for you to join this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will continue to inspire you. Leave a like now and help feed the algorithm so we can boost our message and reach even more hearts. Comment below with your thoughts and reactions to this amazing ending. I want to hear your feelings as the transformation unfolds. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this uplifting story and the journey of our incredible community. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.